Hi, this is Dorothy from Workplace Wellness Yoga. For you golfers out there, and you know who you are, this is for you, and I've been promising it for you. However, if you're a non-golfer, I do encourage you to play along with us because there's a lot of value in each of these poses for you as well. First of all, I invite you to pause the video and have your golf club handy, or have a broomstick or some object, maybe a cue stick for pool, some object that is about that long and can give you some feedback. It's flat. We want a nice flat feedback. So let's place your golf club down for just a moment. Stand about 2 fists apart. Take a moment. Just close your eyes, check in, notice how you're feeling. And if you would, with your eyes closed if you feel safe and balanced, or with your eyes open if you need that stability, gently go from left to right. And notice how you feel on your feet. Notice the sensations changing as you shift your weight from left to right. Slowing things down and finding an even balance left to right. Then gently going forward and back and slowing things down until you find an even weight going forward and back. And this is important not only in golf but in life. You need to find, in my opinion, your balance. Be aware of your body. If you're off to one side and you're taking your swing, is that going to serve you? Maybe not, as opposed to if you're balanced and you know where your body is and you can employ all of your senses of proprioception in order to get the results that you want. After you've found your even weight, I invite you to inhale the arms up, exhale them down, and let's come down to the ground. We have a couple fun things I'd like to share with you. Feel free to come down to the ground any way you wish. Otherwise, we'll do it the yoga way, just for fun. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, hands to hips. With a straight back, coming forward, hinging from your hips. Bend your knees, bringing your hands down to the ground and walking forward, lifting up your hips into downward facing dog. Coming forward into plank. Keeping elbows close to the ribs as you lower down to the ground. Ta-da! We got there. Wasn't that fun? Coming onto hands and knees, I invite you to have your wrists slightly in front of your shoulders and your knees under your hips. And gently engage your low abdominals as if you were putting on a tight pair of pants. At this point, I suggest that you reach your right foot back behind you and gently pulse that heel back and forth, back and forth. Now, one alternative, if it's not comfortable or you cannot get down to the ground easily, is to have your handy-dandy chair available. Make sure that it's up against a wall or on a sticky mat or both so it won't slide away from you. Your hands can come to the bottom of that chair and you can reach out that back heel and still gently pulse that heel back behind you. So I'm looking to wake up your hamstrings first, whether you're using a chair or the floor. And maybe stay here. Always practice ahimsa, non-harming. Keeping that low belly engaged, maybe bring that leg into stillness, and maybe reach your left arm in front of you, resting your fingertips down in the ground. Keeping the low belly engaged, gently lift that low arm, and maybe lift that back leg, finding extension from the front fingertips all the way to the back of your foot. And check your head. If you're lifting your head or lowering it, maybe invite that neck so that it's as in line as you can get it with the rest of your spine. One more breath here, finding length as much as you possibly can. And then bringing the left hand down to the ground, crossing the right foot over the left, toes curled under, and peeking over your left shoulder, looking back in the direction of your feet. Head comes forward first, lifting up that leg, placing it down. And let's come to knees and just knees and shake out everything for a moment. Maybe gently swooshing down the arm, down the wrist, down the hands on both sides. And then coming back either to your chair or to the ground. Wrists gently in front of the shoulders, knees under the hips, and sending the other foot back. For me, it's the left foot. For you, it's whichever one is your other foot. Gently pulsing the heel back and forth. And I invite you to pause here, checking in and noticing how your feet feel. Do you feel this in the arch of your feet, in your toes, in the ball mound of your foot, in your heel, in your calf, in your shin, in your hamstrings? Do you feel it in your shoulders, in your hands, in your neck? Tune in and notice, where do you feel this motion? Maybe continue staying like this on this side. Maybe coming into stillness, engaging those low abs again, the low abs, reaching that front arm in front, resting it down on the ground. And maybe stay here, engaging those abs. Maybe lifting up the arm, lifting back the leg, and pausing to find length. Really finding length, checking to see if you're lifting your head, if you're lowering your head, working in the direction of having your neck in line with the rest of your spine. And as you're extending and finding length, notice, where do you feel this? This is a lovely balance pose, as well as one that helps engage your core. And golfers and human beings need a good, solid, strong core. One more breath here. And then bringing the hand down to the ground, crossing the back leg over, peeking over the shoulders, looking back in the direction of your feet. And enjoying the stretch on both sides of your body. Bringing your head forward first, lifting up that leg, and then bringing it back down. From here, I invite you, if you have a chair, we can use that. Otherwise, let's curl the toes under. Step forward with your dominant foot. Maybe you can even grab your handy dandy golf club if you have it available. And pressing back with the back heel, let's come up to standing. Pause for a moment, step forward. Beautiful, beautiful. So we don't need the golf club right now. That was just fun to get up with. It's nice having tools available. And I invite you to come to standing with your feet about 2 fists apart. Find that even balance from left to right, from front to back. And when you're ready, inhale the arms up, touch the palms, exhale, hands to heart. And gently hinging from your hips, keeping your back straight, bringing your butt back. The back stays nice and straight. And then bend your knees so the butt goes back behind you. Instead of the knees coming forward, we want to invite the hips back. And pausing here in chair pose. One more breath in. And then when you're ready, maybe turn toward the right, taking that left elbow and bringing it in the direction of the outer right leg. Pausing here. All these lovely twists in golf. Normally the motions are one-sided and they're repetitive motions to one side. What we're looking to do is not only strengthen your core, find your balance, increase your focus, but also make sure to work both sides. And yoga is wonderful for that. When you're ready, turning the other way, bringing your right elbow in the direction of that outer left leg. And finding your balance here, still engaging your low abs. Breathing in and noticing how this side feels compared to the first side. It's awesome to be able to tune in, notice how you're feeling, what sensations you're noticing in your body. Rotating back to center, pressing down with your legs to come up to standing, and then shaking everything out. One last fun exercise for you, down on the ground. Let's come to the back edge of your mat, or you can just get down. Spoiler alert, we're coming to the ground. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, hands to hips with a straight back coming forward. bending the knees, bringing the hands down onto the ground, walking the hands forward, maybe lifting up your hips into your downward facing dog, and coming forward into plank, lowering down as slowly as you can, keeping the elbows close to the ribs. At this point, may I invite you to grab your golf club or whatever is handy and accessible for you. And if you don't have one, that's perfectly fine. So let's slowly come down to the ground. There's a whole lot more that we can do to help improve your golf game. But for now, trying to keep this video short so you can get it done in between your work is what I'm working on. Bringing your heels in toward your hips and gently flatten your low back down to the ground as you exhale, pressing that low back down. And then inhale, tilting the pelvis the other way. Exhale, bringing the low back down to the ground. And then inhale, release the other way. Maybe continue this. This is a lovely thing for your low back and a great place to be. Maybe bring your fingertips onto your front hip bones, your ASIS, your anterior superior iliac spine. And when you're ready, gently exhale, pressing the low back down to the ground and lifting up with the pubic bone. See if you can keep your hips even with each other as you're inhaling up and then exhaling down. So you can keep your fingers on your hip bones, your ASIS, or use your golf club or other object as a wonderful source of feedback. And inhale the hips up, keeping your golf club level with the ground, parallel to the ground, and then exhaling back down. So you could do a whole bunch of these. In fact, I do recommend that you do. However, in the interest of time, I'd like to share with you a few fun options that you can add on from here. So keeping an eye on that golf club or your fingertips to make sure that you're level, maybe extend one leg straight, still keeping it level. And at this point, you want to keep your thighs still next to not close to each other, but parallel to each other, and maybe stay here. Maybe lifting up that leg and slowly releasing it, keeping your hips even. Lifting up the leg and slowly returning it down. I'd recommend doing this one a bunch of times and then switching to the other side, straightening that leg out, peeking at your golf club, making sure it's straight. Maybe stay here. Maybe lifting up that leg and slowly returning the thighs into the same plane, lifting up the leg and slowly lowering down. One other option, you can lower down, straighten out one leg, and then lift up your hips, making sure your hips are parallel, the ASIS are even with each other, and then lower down and lift up. Lower down, lift up, lower down, lift up. Are we having fun yet? I would recommend doing way more than I'm just doing right now. Lowering down, straightening the other leg, lifting up and lowering down. Working in the direction of keeping your hips, your ASIS, even with each other so you're not dipping down on one side. And then whenever you've had enough fun, and this is fun, I love it, let's move that golf club or other thing off to the side, roll to the side of choice, and then come up to seated. Golf, like life, takes focus, persistence, balance, strength, and I wish you a lot of fun on the course and in life.